Title: The Red Planet Adventure Chapter 1. The mysterious red planet. Once upon a time, in a galaxy not so far away, there was a planet called Mars. Mars was known as the red planet because of its reddish color, which came from the iron-rich dust that covered its surface. Mars was the fourth planet from the Sun, and it was a cold, desert-like place with a very thin atmosphere made mostly of carbon dioxide. One day, a curious little robot named Curiosity was exploring Mars. Curiosity was not alone. It had many friends who had visited Mars before. These friends were not robots, but special machines called probes and satellites sent by scientists from Earth to learn more about the red planet. Chapter 2. The first visitors to Mars were the Mariner probes. Mariner 4 was the first to send back pictures of Mars in 1965. It showed a barren, cratered landscape, very different from the lush green Earth. Then came Mariner 9 in 1971, which discovered giant volcanoes, deep canyons, and even evidence that water might have once flowed on Mars. Next, they didn't find any little green Martians, but they did find some interesting chemicals that made scientists wonder if tiny microbes could have lived there long ago. Chapter 3. The rovers joined the adventure in 1997. A little rover named Sojourner rolled onto Mars. It was part of the Pathfinder mission and was the first rover to explore the planet. Sojourner was small but mighty, and it sent back lots of pictures and data. Then came the twin rovers, Spirit and Opportunity. In 2004, they were like the superheroes of Mars exploration. In 2012, Curiosity arrived. Curiosity was bigger and could do more science. It found more clues about water and even discovered organic molecules, which are the building blocks of life. Curiosity is still exploring Mars today, climbing mountains and drilling into rocks. Chapter 4. The satellites watching from above. While the rovers were exploring the surface, satellites were orbiting Mars, taking pictures and collecting data. Mars Global Surveyor, Mars Odyssey, and Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter have been watching Mars for years. They have mapped the planet, studied its weather, and even found ice at the poles. The European Space Agency, as Mars Express, has been orbiting Mars since 2003. It discovered methane in the atmosphere, which is exciting because on Earth, methane is often produced by living things. Could there be life on Mars? Chapter 5. Theories about Mars. Scientists have many theories about Mars. One of the most famous theories was by an astronomer named Percival Lowell. In the late 1800s, Lowell thought he saw canals on Mars and believed they were built by intelligent Martians. We now know those canals were just optical illusions, but it was an exciting idea. Another theory is that Mars once had rivers, lakes, and maybe even an ocean. This theory comes from the evidence of dried up riverbeds, lake beds, and minerals that form in water. Some scientists think Mars might have had life long ago when it was warmer and wetter. There's also a theory that Mars could be a future home for humans. Elon Musk, the founder of SpaceX. In 2021, NASA's Perseverance rover landed on Mars with a tiny helicopter named Ingenuity. Maybe one day you could be one of those astronauts exploring Mars and uncovering its secrets. The end, and so the story of Mars continues. From the first probes to the latest rovers, each mission brings us closer to understanding the red planet. Who knows what we'll discover next? Maybe one day we'll find out if life ever existed on Mars or if humans can make it their new home. Until then, the adventure on Mars is just beginning.